You changed. And somebody noticed before you even fully realized it yourself. That is where I want to start today. Not with a card, not with a spread, just with that one sentence sitting in the air for a second, because Spirit dropped it on me so clearly this morning that I actually stopped what I was doing and wrote it down before I forgot it. You changed. And somebody noticed. And what they are doing with that realization right now, the way it is eating at them, the way it is sitting in their chest, the way they keep turning it over and over and cannot find a comfortable position with it, that is what today is about. So let me tell you how this reading even happened, because I feel like the context matters. This week has been genuinely strange for me. Not bad strange, just that particular kind of strange where things feel slightly shifted, like the air pressure changed and nobody else noticed. I have been quieter than usual, more in my head, going about my normal routine, but feeling like something underneath it is reorganizing itself, like furniture being moved in a room while the lights are off, and you cannot see it happening, but you can feel that things are not where they were. You know that feeling? Where you cannot name what is different, but something is. I went for a walk 2 days ago, just by myself. No music, no podcast, nothing. And I found myself thinking about the concept of glow-ups. Not the aesthetic kind, not the haircut and new wardrobe kind, the kind that happens on the inside. The kind that is not visible overnight, but that accumulates slowly. And then one day, someone looks at you, and something behind their eyes shifts. Because the person standing in front of them is not quite the same person they had filed away in their memory. And I started feeling this pull, this very specific tug that I have learned means Spirit is trying to funnel something through me, and by the time I got back home, I knew I needed to sit down and pull cards. So I did. Right there in my coat, standing at my kitchen counter, still slightly out of breath from walking. I pulled. And what came out made me stand there for a full minute, just staring at it. So here I am. Let us talk about what you have become and who is losing sleep over it. The first thing I need to say, and I am going to say it plainly because this is not a moment for softening, you are not who you used to be. And I mean that in the deepest possible way. Something happened to you, maybe gradually over months, maybe through something specific that cracked things open. Maybe through a combination of losses and realizations and quiet decisions you made alone in rooms that nobody else saw. But something happened. And the version of you that exists right now is genuinely different from the version that existed before. More settled, more clear, more, and this is the word Spirit, kept giving me more arrived. Like you have been on a long journey and you have not necessarily reached the final destination, but you have arrived somewhere real, somewhere solid, somewhere that you can actually stand without bracing. And this person sees it. That is what is driving them crazy. Not who you were, who you have become. Drop something in the comments right now. Type arrived if you feel like you know what I am talking about. Like you can actually feel in yourself that something has shifted over the past year or two and you are not the same person you were. I want to see how many of you recognize this in yourselves, because I think this collective is going to surprise itself with how many people feel this right now. Okay, so who is this person? Let me get into it. This is someone who had a version of you in their head, a filed away, categorized, I think I know what this person is about version. And that version was based on what they observed at a particular point in time, a snapshot. a moment. Maybe they knew you during a harder season. Maybe they knew you before you had fully figured out who you were. Maybe they encountered you when you were still doing that thing a lot of us do, where we make ourselves slightly smaller and slightly more palatable so that the space we take up does not make other people uncomfortable. Whatever the context they had, their version of you. And they held on to it, filed it away, moved on with their life, carrying that particular idea of who you are. And then something happened that made them look again. Maybe they saw something you posted. Maybe they ran into you somewhere. Maybe someone mentioned you in conversation, and something about how your name landed made them pause. Maybe they just thought about you randomly the way people do, the brain surfacing things without clear logic, and when the thought of you came up, it did not match the memory they were holding. Like picking up an object you thought was light and discovering it has weight you did not account for. Something made them take a second look. And the second look wrecked everything. Because who you are now, who you have become in the time since they formed their original picture of you, is so much more than what they had filed away. The confidence, the settledness, the way you move with this quiet authority that comes not from arrogance but from actual self-knowledge, the way you do not scramble for approval anymore, the way you do not adjust yourself constantly based on how the room is responding to you, the way you just exist in your own energy fully and let people take it or leave it. They did not see this coming. They genuinely did not see this coming. And now that they have seen it, they cannot unsee it, and they cannot stop thinking about it, and it is genuinely driving them up the wall. Here is something I want to say about your glow up specifically, because Spirit was very detailed about this, and I think you need to hear it said outright. Your transformation was not accidental. It was earned. It happened through things that were genuinely hard, through seasons where you were not okay, through periods of real loss, maybe of people, maybe of versions of yourself, maybe of beliefs you held about how things were going to go, through nights where you sat with your own thoughts and the thoughts were not gentle, through the process of learning that the things you thought you needed to be happy were not actually the things, and finding something more real underneath once you stop chasing them. That kind of transformation leaves marks, not visible ones necessarily, but marks that show up in how you carry yourself, in the way you make decisions now, in the things you will not tolerate that you used to tolerate quietly, in the things you no longer feel the need to explain or justify to anyone. And people feel those marks. Even people who cannot see them. Even people who could not tell you exactly what changed. They feel the difference. And this person is feeling it with everything in them right now. They are also, if I am being completely honest about what the cards showed me, a little shaken by it. And I do not say that to be dramatic. I say it because it is accurate, and because I think understanding it changes how you see what is happening with them. They are shaken because your growth confronts them with something. Maybe with the realization of what they passed up or underestimated or did not fully appreciate when they had the chance to. Maybe with the recognition that the version of you they dismissed or overlooked or filed away as not quite enough was never actually that it was always this, just not yet fully expressed. And there is something deeply uncomfortable about realizing you misjudged something significant. It makes you question your own perceptiveness. It makes you sit with a kind of regret that has nowhere comfortable to land. Talk to me in the comments. Type "they slept on ME" if this is resonating. If you feel like there are people in your life, this person included, who had access to you before you came into what you are now and did not recognize what they were dealing with, I see you. Drop it below. Now let me talk about who you actually are in this moment. Because Spirit kept pressing on your specific energy. And it matters. You have become someone who does not need external validation to feel solid. And that is not a small thing. That is actually enormous. Because most people who seem confident, most people who seem like they have it together are still doing this thing underneath where they are monitoring for approval, still adjusting, still calibrating themselves based on the response they are getting, still needing the nod from someone else to feel like they are on the right track. You have moved past that in a real way. Not in a I no longer care what anyone thinks performative way. In a genuine, I am actually grounded in myself now way that is completely different. Because it does not require maintenance and it does not crack under pressure. And here is what that does to the people around you. It makes them feel things they cannot fully account for. Because encountering someone who is genuinely grounded in themselves is a rare experience. It triggers something. For some people, it is admiration. For some people, it is an uncomfortable envy they do not want to acknowledge. For some people, it is attraction at a level that catches them completely off guard. And for this specific person, it is all of those things happening simultaneously, and they do not know what to do with any of it. They are obsessed with the details of your transformation. Not in a clinical, detached way, in a deeply personal, cannot stop thinking about it way. The specific ways you carry yourself differently now. The particular things you say that reveal a depth they did not know was there. The moments where your self-assurance shows up naturally without you seeming to be aware of it. They collect these observations the way people collect evidence for a conclusion they are trying to prove to themselves. Except the conclusion they are arriving at keeps getting bigger than they expected, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to pretend they are not arriving at it. They watch your social media more than you know. Not occasionally. Consistently, whatever window into your life you make publicly available, they are behind it regularly. And what they see keeps confirming the thing they have been trying to rationalize away, which is that you have become something extraordinary. And they noticed too late. And that is entirely their own issue to deal with, but they are not dealing with it particularly well. Something I want to address now because it was prominent in this reading and it connects to everything else. The way you walk into spaces has changed. The physical, actual, in-the-room presence of you registers differently than it used to. And I think if you are being honest with yourself, you might have noticed this. People respond to you differently now. There is a moment sometimes you can feel it when you arrive somewhere and the energy of the room adjusts. It is not that you are doing anything to make that happen. It is that the settled, arrived, grounded version of you that is walking in the door now is something that people's nervous systems pick up on before their conscious minds have processed it. You carry authority without performing it, confidence without announcing it. And that combination, quiet, real, unperformed confidence, is one of the rarest and most compelling things a person can carry. This specific person has experienced this, has felt the room shift when you entered, has felt something in their own body before they even made eye contact with you. And it has become associated in them now with a particular feeling, this mix of longing and discomfort, and something close to awe that they are not going to be able to shake, no matter how much time passes or how many other things they try to occupy themselves with. Let me talk about the spiritual dimension of this because it was threaded through the entire reading and I cannot separate it from everything else. What happened to you was not just personal growth in the conventional sense. There was a spiritual component to your transformation. The things you went through did not just make you stronger in a psychological way, they cracked you open in a way that allowed something deeper to come through. Something that was in you before, but that did not have access to the surface. Your discernment sharpened. Your intuition became more reliable and more specific. Your ability to read situations and people and energies to feel what is actually true underneath what is being presented became genuinely remarkable in a way that is visible to the people around you, even when they cannot name what they are seeing. Some people in your life have noticed that you seem to know things, that you catch things early, that you are rarely genuinely surprised by how people turn out to be because you already sensed it. And this person has experienced this quality of yours firsthand in some way. Has had the experience of you seeing something about them, maybe seeing through something, maybe reading between lines they thought were invisible and it shook them. Because being truly seen is not always comfortable, especially when you have been used to being the one who does the seeing. Your ancestors are moving in your life. Your protection is active and it is specific. The things that did not work out were protected departures, even when they felt like losses at the time. The people who left were not your people. The doors that closed were closing to make way for something that actually fits who you are now, not who you were when those doors first opened. Trust that. Even the most painful redirections were redirections. They were not endings. Financial energy also came through in this reading, and I want to address it because it is real and it is happening right now in your life, whether you are fully aware of it yet or not. The financial trajectory is shifting upward. If there has been a season of tightness or instability or just the kind of low-level scarcity mindset that gets into your thinking, even when things are okay, that is lifting. Something is opening. It may not be dramatic and sudden. It may be gradual and compound. But the direction has changed and the change is real. Stay open to it coming from unexpected places. Stay willing to receive it without immediately looking for the catch. This person, by the way, is not someone who is struggling. They have built something financially. They are responsible and strategic with money, and they are stable in a way that is substantive. But more than the practical reality of that is the energy they bring to it. They are someone who wants to provide, not to control, not to create obligation. To provide, because taking care of the people they love is genuinely one of the ways they know how to express what they feel. And they have been sitting with the desire to do that for you for longer than they would probably admit. They want something permanent with you. That came through clearly and specifically. They are not sitting in this feeling, fantasizing about something casual or temporary. They are thinking about real commitment, about what it would look like to actually have you in their life in an official, lasting, growing together kind of way. They are thinking about introducing you to the people who matter to them. They are thinking about the kind of relationship that becomes the foundation of the next chapter rather than just a pleasant detour inside the current one. And they have never thought this way about someone before, not like this, not with this specific weight of certainty underneath it. Now let me get to the messages from Spirit because These came through so strongly and so clearly, and I want to make sure every single one lands. First, the person you have become is not going back. Whatever you went through to get here, whatever it cost you, whatever version of yourself you had to release in order to arrive at this one that work is permanent. You are not going back to who you were. And the life that is being built for you, the connections that are being drawn toward you, the abundance that is moving in your direction, all of it is calibrated for this version of you. Not the old version, this one. So stop waiting to feel fully ready. Stop waiting to feel like you have finished becoming. You are already who you needed to become for what is coming. Second, this person's feelings are real and they run deep. I know that can be hard to fully trust when someone has not said it directly. I know the tendency to minimize what you sense because you do not want to be wrong. Spirit is saying today, stop minimizing. What you have been picking up on is accurate. The obsession is real. The depth is real. The specific quality of feeling they have for you that they have never had for anyone else before real. You are not imagining it. You are not projecting. Your intuition on this has been right. Third, the people who underestimated you are sitting with that now. The ones who had their version of you and decided it was not impressive enough. The ones who wrote you off or glossed over you or chose not to see what was right in front of them. They are looking at your life right now, and they are doing the very uncomfortable math of realizing how wrong they were. You do not need to do anything about this. You do not need to make sure they see your success or your growth or your transformation. They already see it. That is the whole point. They already see it, and they cannot look away. Fourth, what is coming for you in love is not a repeat of what already happened. I want to say this specifically because I think some of you are carrying a brace from previous experiences, a preemptive tensing against disappointment. And Spirit is asking you to release that specific tension right now because what is approaching does not carry the patterns you are braced for. This is different. This person is different. The dynamic is different. The foundation being built is different. Let it be different. Do not make it wear the costume of something that already hurt you just because your nervous system is used to that shape. Fifth, your transformation will keep compounding. What you are now is not the ceiling. The growth that happened to bring you here is not finished it, is just reached a new landing. And from this landing, more is going to open. More clarity, more capability, more specificity about what you want and what you will not accept, and what is actually available to you now that was not available before. Keep saying yes to that growth, even when it is uncomfortable. Especially when it is uncomfortable. Sixth and final message, you are someone's entire reason for reconsidering everything. This person is not just attracted to you. They are not just interested. They are in the middle of a genuine internal reconfiguration because of you. Things they thought they had figured out about themselves and what they wanted and what was possible, your existence in their world is quietly rewriting all of it. You are not a small thing to them. You are not a chapter. You are the thing that changed the book. Stay in it. Stay in who you have become. Keep being the arrived, grounded, badass version of yourself that somebody out there is currently losing their mind over. Do not shrink back. Do not second-guess the transformation. Do not let anyone, including this person's hesitation, including your own fear, talk you back into a smaller version of what you are. You became something. Someone noticed. And it is absolutely driving them crazy. That is confirmed. Today, fully.